Primitive reflex integration helps individuals eliminate brainstem reflexes such as the moro or startle reflex that are necessary in the early months of development but can hinder later development of coordinated movement. This video shows my own daughter at the beginning and end of a 6-week round of primitive reflex integration exercises. Let's see the progress that she made. This first exercise is called Superman's. You can see when she gets into it that she struggles to extend her limbs all the way, struggles to even get her legs off the ground. I correct her, but even so, she struggles to get that full extension across her entire body.
Again, ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
6 weeks later, she is able to extend fully. Those arms go all the way out, those legs come up and all the way out, and she is doing much better overall with that strength.
One more.
Apologies for the camera angle. I didn't realize we had gone off the side of it, but these are essentially jumping jacks, but on the ground. We called them stars. She has trouble coordinating her arms and her legs together, moving one set of limbs and then the other. She's doing okay on arm extension, but is really struggling with leg extension here as well. You can see that it takes a lot of thought, and the movements are not very coordinated in these early weeks.
And up to a star.
It's 9.
9. Yeah, this one is 9. Up to a star, all the way over the head. All the way over the head, little friend. Very good. And now last one. Up like a star.
At the end of our time, she is getting much more coordinated and she has full extension of all her limbs. Especially as she gets going here, as she warms up and gets used to the exercise, she's able to coordinate all of her limbs together at once without having to think about it too much, and that extension has really come a long way from where it used to be.
Down like a pencil.
Down like a pencil.
That's 4. Up like a star. Down like a That's 5. Down like a pencil. Up like a star. 6. Yep. 7. 8.
With these roly-poly chin tucks, the goal is to get her to tuck her chin all the way into her knees. We realized with these that she really needs to work on core strength. In the beginning, she could not tuck her chin. I had to assist her with every part of this movement, from holding her legs in to getting her chin to tuck to curling her up towards her knees. A little bit later on, she got better, but like I said, we ended up doing another 6-week course of ab exercises after this. But you'll see in just a second here that even with the additional ab work needed, she was able to improve a lot.
Okay.
Here we go. She grabs those legs right away. She pulls them into herself. And the camera is a little distracting, but she was able to lift that head up and tuck that chin. Yay!
Now we are doing cat and cat.
Cat and cat. Let's do 10 like this.
In the beginning, Emmy's cat and cows were very stiff. She had a very stiff back and a stiff neck. Her body stayed mostly straight. There wasn't a lot of sway happening there, and she was even a little bit unsteady on her hands and knees. Again, apologies for the camera angle. I think this one's a little bit better.
Yep. 7.
8.
What's in between your legs now?
My unicorn.
Yeah.
10.
Very good. What?
When she got to the end of the 6-week program, she was able to arch her back a lot more, especially on the up look. See that full arch in the back, and she's a lot more stable on her hands and knees, not having, well, she moved around there, but not having to move around as much, and able to get a much fuller extension across that spine. Right into rocking horses, she was able immediately to sit all the way back on her feet and rock backwards, but rocking forwards over her hands with that wrist extension was really challenging for her. She wiggled around a lot, but then as she got better at it, she was able to be more stable. She still doesn't have a huge extension, but it is more than it was before, and believe it or not, those knees are more stable in the back than they were at the beginning of her exercises 6 weeks ago.
That's 7.
Oh, the lizard crawl. This was by far the most challenging exercise for us. You can see in the beginning, she needed assistance with every single aspect of this. What you're supposed to do is look one way, raise your arm and your leg on that side, look the other way, put your limbs down and repeat on the opposite side. She kept getting her head confused, her arms confused, had a lot of trouble rotating hips in between. She really needed reminders, physical reminders of being tapped on each limb that had to be moved in order to move them. And even then, it was very difficult for her to follow through with that coordinated, alternating movement.
Mommy side up. Roar. Roar. Good job. I think you're too silly for Lizard Stay. And down like a pencil. And puppy dog
6 weeks
lizard.
later, I would still say this is the most challenging exercise, but she is able, with minimal physical reminders, to complete the movement. See here, she puts her head down, she goes to a pencil, she's able to rotate those hips independently, and then she moves her head, and those arms and legs go straight back down. That really was a huge improvement. I would say this exercise showed the biggest range of improvement over the 6 week course.
And look at the puppy dogs. And down like a pencil. And puppy dog side lizard. Good job. And look at mommy. And down like a pencil. Let's do all
Popcorns are another exercise that use ab engagement, and after doing this exercise, I saw that she needed additional work on ab engagement. But here she is at the very beginning. You can see her extension isn't great, and certainly there was no ab engagement. You're supposed to tuck tight into a ball, and that just really didn't happen at all.
and explode. Okay, let's do a real popcorn. Ready? One side.
Then a little bit later, she is crossing her arms and her legs, which is a start. She's trying to tuck, but still hasn't quite gotten that movement yet. But when she pops, that extension is there, and she's holding with her abs a little bit when she rocks back and forth, too. So it's not perfect, but it was definitely an improvement.
Tight, 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 and explode.
This last exercise is finger pinch. And this was the one that she was always the best at. She's always had pretty good fine motor control. Maybe not fine motor strength, but fine motor control. So we just pinch each finger individually to the thumb and back again. She is looking at her fingers a fair amount in the beginning. That's why we did some in front of the eyes and out far, which isn't shown here, but just to get her to not look as much. But then
There we go. Perfect.
at the end of the 6 weeks, she was able to do it without looking at her fingers. You can see the difference. She's doing it more by herself without referencing them visually. Give her a second here. There we go. And then same thing when she puts them up over her eyes. She doesn't have to pull them back to look at them quite as much. She can just go through it automatically. So that was our experience with primitive reflex integration. We did another 6 weeks of ab exercises. I'll be uploading a video about that later. If you want to learn more about our home therapies, you can see my Medium article, which is linked below. Thanks so much for watching.